Good morning, Bix Weir, roadrunner.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of decaffeinated tea. All right, so last night I put out a rare nighttime video as the war stuff was going on, and it was entitled War Alert, Urgent Time to Rig All Markets. Those of you who aren't aware that the powers that be, the banks and the Treasury and central banks rig all markets at all times. And those of you kind of getting your first glimpse behind the curtain might be saying, oh my God, they rigged the market. Why did silver get crashed down and gold get crashed down? How'd the stock market all of a sudden jump up? What's happening with oil? Let's take a look. Let's take a peek behind the curtain. First of all, zero hedge. Stock futures staged tremendous rebound from overnight crash on optimism. Worst of Iran crisis is over. It is insane and ridiculous and embarrassing, these free markets in the United States and around the world. S&P future index futures erased their earlier crash after tumbling more than 50 points following news Iran launched ballistic missiles at U.S. airbase in Iraq, as investors turned optimistic and looked past the missile strikes, focusing instead on Iran's commentary. That's not what happened. Investors didn't turn optimistic or look past anything. Steve Mnuchin, the head of market rigging at Goldman Sachs, computer market rigging, clicked the mouse at the Treasury, called his buddies on Wall Street, called the New York Fed and said, okay, here's what we're going to do and the time we're going to do it. This is what we're going to do. The stock market, the bond market, the oil market, the gold market, the silver market, the crypto market. Here's what's going to happen. Ready, set, break, go. Let's go. That's exactly what happened. Trader mocks markets, quote, behaving as if Middle East tensions are already yesterday's news. This is crazy stuff. The market wants to conclude that the horror that has been served in the Middle East, and we can all stand down and move along. The central bank can keep its powder dry for the next upset. Fed funds futures are back to flat, so there is not anything to be concerned about. Such is the enduring influence of a world that turns on lower rates forever. No, it's not the rates. It's a rig job. Computer rigging models invented in the 1960s and 70s by Alan Greenspan. It's that simple. What do you think root is? Root A. Yeah, it's a Federal Reserve Bank comic book. Yeah, it's the story of going back to a gold standard. But root A comes from a computer programming term in Fortran. It is the basis of our financial system. And it is computers and derivatives that rig every single market. There is no free market. We don't know what the price of oil is. We don't know what the stock market is. We don't know the value of anything in a free market. Check this out. Here's just some of the stuff. Oh, great news. ADP employment data surges to best since April. Is the regular economy doing well? No, they rigged those numbers too. How do I know they rigged those numbers? Look at this. WTI loses after surprise crude build. Why do you think there was a surprise crude build? You know what the crude build is? The U.S. government reports how much oil we have in storage. When they want to rig the price of oil down, they say, oh my God, look at us, all this oil we have. I think it's a weekly announcement. Oil exploded overnight as the initial leg from API and then Iran missile strikes. But thanks to a pair of tweets from Trump and Zarif that all is well and operations are concluded, prices revert back to unchanged. No! That's bullshit. Yes, Trump tweeted that out, but it's Steve Mnuchin clicking the mouse. The basement of the US Treasury is a computer trading floor. Did you know that? With unlimited funds doing unlimited things with derivatives. That's where the exchange stabilization funds reside. Not even a fund. Yes, the exchange stabilization fund has to report sometimes, but they don't report any derivative action. Any. So if there's 2.5 quadrillion right now in derivatives floating around, bet you half of that is traded by the exchange stabilization. But the derivatives are the big thing right now. That's what they're trying to protect, the oil derivatives. uh, this guy Pepe Escobar, I don't know if that's his real name, but Pepe Escobar has been pointing out the derivative book is the nuclear option. Clearly, there's something going on behind this U.S. thing. The U.S. executing this guy. And it's probably a fight with the deep state. It could be the U.S. trying to destroy the system. I don't know. But there's something more than what they tell us. Obviously. Anyway, on foreign soil, as a guest nation, U.S. has assassinated a diplomatic envoy whose mission the U.S. had requested. You know something else is going on behind the scenes. He goes through a lot of the stuff, who the guy was, how this will stir up massive tension in the Middle East. And this is the guts of it. Oil war. No tsunami of pedestrian U.S. mainstream media PR will be able to disguise a massive strategic blunder, not to mention yet another blatantly illegally targeted assassination. Yet this might as well have been a purposeful blunder. Killing Soleimani does prove that Trump, the deep state, and the usual suspects all agree on the essentials. There can be no entente cordiale between Saudi Arabia and Iran. Divide and rule remains the norm. Michael Hudson sheds light on what is, in effect, a protracted democratic oil war. The assassination was intended to escalate America's presence in Iraq, to keep control of the region's oil reserves, and to back Saudi Arabia's Wahhabi troops, to support U.S. control of Near Eastern oil as a buttress of the U.S. dollar. That remains the key to understanding this policy and why it is in the process of escalating, not dying down. Neither Trump nor the deep state could not fail to notice that Soleimani was the key strategic asset for Iraq to eventually assert control of its oil wealth, while progressively defeating the Wahhabi, Salafist, jihadi galaxy. So he had to go. Now here's the nuclear option. For all the rumble surrounding Iraqi commitment to expel U.S. troops and Iranian pledge to react to the Soleimani assassination at a time of its choosing, there's no way to make the imperial masters listen without a financial hit. Enter the world of derivatives, which every major player knows is the weapon of mass financial destruction. The derivatives are used to drain trillions of dollars a year out of the market in manipulated profits. These profits, of course, are protected under the too big to prosecute doctrine. It's all obviously parasitic and illegal. The beauty is it can be turned into a nuclear option against the imperial masters. I've written exclusively about it. New York connections told me the columns all landed on Trump's desk. Obviously, he does not read anything, but the message was there and also delivered in person. This past Friday, 2 American mid-range traditional funds bit the dust because they were leveraging in derivatives linked to oil prices. If Tehran ever decided to shut down the Strait of Hormuz, call it the nuclear option, that would trigger a depression as trillions of dollars in derivatives imploded. The Bank of International Settlements counts about $600 billion in total derivatives. Not really. Swiss sources say there are at least 1.2 quadrillion, some placing it at 2.5 quadrillion. That would imply a derivatives market 28 times the world's GDP. On Hormuz, the shortage of 22% of the world's oil supply simply could not be papered over. It would detonate a collapse and cause a market crash infinitely worse than in 1933 Weimar Germany. The Pentagon gamed every possible scenario of a war in Iran, and the results are grim. Sound generals, yes, there are some, know the U.S. Navy would not be able to keep the Strait of Hormuz open. It would have to leave immediately or as sitting ducks face total annihilation. So Trump threatened to destroy 52 Iranian sites, including priceless cultural heritage, is a bluff. Worse, this is the stuff of bragging by the ISIS-worthy barbarian. The Taliban destroyed the Bahian Buddhas. ISIS nearly destroyed Palmyra. Trump al-Bakr Mar-Lago wants to join as the destroyer of Persian culture. The nuclear option is the derivatives. Oil is the number one derivative out there. Just like oil is the number one commodity traded in the world, that's why we required everybody to buy oil in US dollars. It created artificial demand for it. So there you have it. Clearly, Trump's doing this on purpose. Is it because he's going to blow up the oil market at some point? Probably. What does that do to derivatives? What does that do to everything? What does that do to the European banks? Who are the counterparties for those derivatives? Think, obviously, Deutsche Bank, HSBC, JP Morgan, and friends. Just one of them goes and everybody goes. Anyway, there was a plane that was shot down or exploded. It was shot down. I don't know what that's all about, but it is linked. Iran refuses to hand over crash data, stoking speculation the plane was accidentally shot down. I don't know. There were no Americans on the plane. Did the Americans shoot it down? There was a Iraqi general who just a couple days ago referenced the shooting down of an Iranian commercial airliner that the U.S. did a while back by accident. And then this happens. Is that related? But then why wouldn't there be any Americans on board? It is a tough one to figure out, my friends, but it is obviously chaotic. And then you got the strike by Iran on the U.S. bases, which were actually Iraqi bases with U.S. people there, but there were closer bases, U.S. bases to Iraq. Optically quite dramatic, but officials confirmed no U.S. casualties from Iranian missile strike. Senior White House reporter for Bloomberg News, Jennifer Jacobs, has reported there were no American casualties from last night's Iranian missile strike that targeted 2 air bases in Iraq that host U.S. troops. So they were Iraqi bases that host U.S. troops. There's U.S. bases even closer and larger and more strategic to Iran. We will see. It's a big game going on behind the scenes, and I don't have all. I'm going to keep scratching away for what's really going on. But what happened after I posted that thing last night? Said it's time to rig the markets. Voila! Look what we got. Steve Mnuchin. Click, click, click. This is Steve Mnuchin today. Click, 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 click. Silver price was headed to $19. Bang! Back to 18. Gold was headed to 1,600. I think it hit 1,600. Bang! They really are pounding on gold. They usually pound on silver. I'm not saying that the good guys are holding silver back. I'm just saying they usually pound on silver. They can make it all go to zero with the click of a mouse. It's that easy to do. And then shut the markets down. So the gold bugs are probably pissed off. I can't wait to read the GATA posts. My friend Chris Powell and Bill Murphy out there, they still don't understand that there's a hell of a lot of gold. But gold has nothing to do. The amount of physical gold in the world has nothing to do with the price. When you trade 300 times leverage in derivatives on gold, it has nothing to do with the price. This is war standing. And by the way, when we are at war, or any time, truthfully, we have full legal, according to the U.S. law, legal right to rig any commodity. That comes from the 1933 Gold Confiscation Act. You can rig any commodity you want. You can rig any market you want for the good of the country. That's how we ended up in this fucked up spot we're in right now. All right. Interestingly, cryptos aren't being slammed. They probably don't even care about them that much right now. But yeah, cryptos are hanging tough. Who knows where they're going to go? The crypto rigging isn't that much through the Exchange Stabilization Fund, I don't think. It's more through the there's bad guys in there, obviously. There's the deep state crypto guys. It started way, way, way back when, at the beginnings of Bitcoin. Dan Larimer's dad and all that. That's deep state dirty stuff. So they're deeply involved. That's where Bitfinex and all that come into play. That's why Block One got off so easy from the SEC, and Veritasium got destroyed totally, but everything thrown at them. Block One is deep state. Reggie was the solution. Is the solution. So I don't know when that's gonna I'll flip around, but I think it will flip around on the bad guys when they get taken out. Anyway, that's what's going on right now. Crazy stuff. Lots going on at the road to Ruta. Day 3 of the raw food reboot. I'm feeling good. I think I've dropped 5 pounds already. You drop a lot in the beginning, and then it tapers off. But it's not a diet. Amy keeps saying it's not a diet. It's a raw food reboot. You're replacing all the crap with that's you used to stick in your body, and that's the sludge that's built up in your body, and you're washing it away with raw food, and then raw smoothies, and then raw juices for a week. So if you want to join, it's not too late. You're just a couple days behind. Go to roadtorooted.com. It's the second one down, raw food reboot. That'll take you to Amy's site. It's all free. Free! Get in better shape, feel better. Mind is clear for free. This is Bix. I'll talk to you guys later.